Hey, Michael Griffiths here, founder of Referral Marketing Guru, and welcome to Referral TV, the only TV show that teaches you how to get more referrals, how to use your networks, how to be able to find the right people in your networks, and how to create opportunities every day with the things that you're already doing. Great to have you on this episode. This episode, I'm going to talk all about why networking events don't usually work. And I say don't usually work because I reckon there's probably about 5% of the whole population that do know how to work them. But for 95% of people, they're a complete waste of time. Stop going, give up right now. Just tricky. Don't give up right now, but you've got to change what you're doing when you go to networking events. If you're going to networking events purely to sell your products or services, you don't get it. Do you think other people are going to networking events to buy from you? Or do you think they're going to networking events to sell their products and services also? So we've put 50 people in a room who are all selling their products and services and no one's buying. Well, what a waste of time. We have to change why we go to networking events. We go to networking events to grow our network, to expand on the possibilities with other people that we have not met before. We go to networking events to create new opportunities. If you don't go with that sort of mindset, then you're missing the point of what networking events are all about. If you're going purely because you need to make a sale very quickly, you're missing the point of what it's all about. And you're not going to make a sale very quickly. If you're a person who goes to networking events and you just go, here's my card, 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 to every single person in the room, well, you've just wasted 50 odd cards. Because those cards will sit on the person's desk, eventually they'll get put into a pile with a rubber band about them, and eventually they'll go in the bin. So what do you actually have to do when going to networking events? Well, this is what I do. When I go to networking events, my goal, I have a goal going into the networking event. My goal is to be able to connect with at least 6 to 8 people that I can build relationships with over the coming days, and we can work out how do we do things together. You see, I could go to that networking event and I could sell to one person, big deal, one sale, or I could go to that networking event, build a relationship with that person, and then get into their network, and that might create me 10, 15, 20 sales. That's got to be far better for your business than just creating one sale from the person at the event. So what I'm constantly doing is, how do I find 6 to 8 people at that event in which we don't have conversations at the event, we organise to catch up after the event. And those catch-ups can be telephone, it can be face-to-face, it doesn't really matter. But it's what happens after the event that becomes the magic. But before you can create the magic, you've got to find the right people. So if you're going to your networking event and you're purely thinking about how can I sell right now, you're not going to find the right people. You might find 1 or 2 people who go, oh, that's great, I think I need that. But you don't know if they're even the right person to buy your product or service because you haven't qualified them. Instead, think about how you can utilize everyone at the networking event to create multiple sales. Now, that's a completely different way of thinking. But if you have that way of thinking, your business is going to grow 2, 3, 4 times faster than what it is right now. Because you're going to have other people to be able to leverage off. You're going to be able to get into new people's networks. People you don't even know exist right now. People who don't even know you exist right now. And you're going to have the ability to be able to sell to them on the back of someone else's credibility. Now that's extremely powerful when you slow it down and you actually think about what we just said there. Think about the easiest way to be able to make a sale to somebody. It's through somebody saying, hey, this person's really good at what they do. If you need this, you should be able to use that person. Word of mouth. That's the easiest way to make a sale. So imagine if you went to networking events and you found 6 people who were going to do that for you over the next month. And let's say they did it to 10 people each. You now have the ability to make 60 sales. Isn't that far more interesting going to networking events to be able to do that than maybe to make 1 sale? So you have to change the way you think about networking events right now. Whether you're part of a structured group, an informal group, you turn up every now and then, you've got to actually think, what is the purpose of me going to this event? What are the outcomes that I'm trying to achieve? Now, by all means, if you're going to an event purely to make a sale, good luck to you. This isn't for you. Okay, you don't have the right way of thinking, and eventually you won't have a business. But if you can start thinking about how to leverage into other people's networks, if you can start thinking about how can I partner with people at that particular event, how do we create win-wins with people at that particular event, now all of a sudden you're going to start thinking collaboration. You're going to now go to those events and you're going to ask different questions. And your questions are going to start to be, great, so what sort of network do you have? How do you think we might be able to work together? Can you see that we might be able to collaborate in some way? And now you're going to start asking those sorts of questions rather than, this is what I do, what do you do? You must get sick of hearing that at networking events over and over and over again. So I want you to be able to do this. Whatever networking event you're about to go to next, I want you to think about these couple of things. What is the purpose of why am I going? You don't have to go to a networking event for the 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours just because that's the time frame. Sometimes I can go to a networking event and take 15 minutes because I've already achieved my outcome that I went to that event for. So have an outcome. What is the reason why you're going to that event? The second thing I want you to think about is, how can I collaborate with people at that event? Because that's going to get me into new networks. It's going to increase the ability to sell to more people rather than just to one person. So I want you to think about those two things. Okay? All of a sudden now, you're going to have a better experience. I'd love if every networking event that you could ever go to had people who went there purely to go, how do we help each other? Unfortunately, the majority of networking events are all about what's in it for me, and they put out their hand. But let's change the landscape of networking. Okay, let's get this message out to people that when you go to events going, how do we do things together? All of a sudden, the possibilities are endless. All of a sudden, the opportunities are endless. So you take this message, change the way you're thinking around networking events, and go, how do I collaborate with 6 people from that event rather than how do I sell to one person? You'll start making more sales, you'll start being able to get more people into your network, and you'll have a better business because of it. This is what I'd love you to be able to do if you can after watching this. Can you leave a comment below? We're going to talk about anything you want on Referral TV to do with referrals, affiliates, cross-promotions, partnerships. Leave a comment below on what you'd like me to be able to talk about, because I'd love to be able to make things that are relevant to our listeners. Make sure you join us, our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Michael Griffiths. Also join us at referralmarketingguru.com.au, and make sure you subscribe right here to our YouTube channel as we put out more episodes of Referral TV. Until then, have a great time creating opportunities. Remember, there's only win-wins when you want it to be. Take care.